been circling around the headlines today is a certain coach, and I think you know what coach I'm talking about,
Ouch.
Mr. Dan Hurley.
Yeah, he ran afoul of the mouth. I
How
heard.
did you feel about that?
Look, I love a spirited head coach. I get it. You're in the flow, but you got to comport yourself. You're the head coach. You're supposed to show the way. Now, I'm a little more lenient with NBA head coaches and WNBA head coaches because you're dealing with grown men and grown women in that arena. Here in college, you're dealing with young women and young men. You're dealing with those who are between 18 and 22. You don't you don't need to show that you have a lack of composure because it's going to leak to your team, whether you're playing or whether the game is over. And that was the number one issue I have with how Dan Hurley was. And correct me if I'm wrong, sir. I think you would agree with that.
So here's what I got.
Shoot.
Now the press conference was a lot different than right after the game. You
Yeah.
noticed that, right?
Yeah. Oh, the press conference, yeah, you can lob whatever bombs you want. People are gonna say you're crazy and you need to, you need to tighten your mouth, but it's
But
okay.
it's the right after the game going to the tunnel. I
Yeah,
hope they
that's
don't.
not
I
good.
hope they don't bleep you like they bleeped us.
See, that gives me Juwan Howard vibes all over again.
And he was talking to the Baylor team before they took the court.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
Dan
I
Hurley,
get. Look,
Dan
I
Hurley. Was it a rest fault that your team failed to get three rebounds off of missed free throws by Florida, who missed 12 by the way?
well, I was gonna say, look, I get that referees can be faulty, and I get that college referees get a bad rap. I get that, but we both have played athletics. Mine was more football than basketball. Yours is basketball. I know your coaches said this to you. I don't even have to be in a huddle because I know the coaches said this to me. Bump the refs, bump the zebras.
Hey,
The game is
I
in
went to the
your
school.
control. Win or lose, it is in your hands how the game goes.
I went to a high school that's known for getting fouled. It was known to get screwed up calls.
Hmm.
And when I left, for those who are watching from Jacksonville, I went to Reebok. I started my high school at Reebok. Who for you can't get no calls at Reebok.
Hmm.
It's like they don't like Reebok, so you ain't getting no calls. And yet Reebok, it was one of them programs, high school programs, where in basketball you still can't beat them. That's
Right.
Reebok.
Right.
I transferred to Stanton,
Hmm.
and I remember I'm on the team, but I can't play. Right? We playing our rivals. We in their backyard,
Hmm.
and my teammates they mad, they angry. Every call's going our rivals' way. Every single one. I
Hmm.
looked at them. I said, "Look, do not worry about the rest.
Yeah.
Take the rest out the game. Play our game, and I guarantee you, we will win this game."
Hmm. Don't focus on the
We
refs. Focus on what you got to
we
do. Yeah.
we took a I think it was a 13-point halftime deficit and won by 5 in
Hmm.
our own rivals building.
Yeah. And it's all a matter of not focusing on the refs and and seeing what Hurley did in the tunnel to Baylor and saying that I hope the refs don't screw you like they screwed us. It's a reflection of the line that was said in the Remember the Titans and saying that attitude reflects leadership. So if the head coach is going to give off that air of Well, it's the ref's fault we didn't advance. It's the ref's fault we lost with 2 points. It's the ref's fault we didn't get that extra bucket or 2 buckets that we needed to beat this team that would have been an upset and kick out one of the number one seeds in this tournament. If that is how the head coach is saying or feeling this, how do you think his charge is going to feel? No accountability. It's going to be like, oh yeah, we got jobbed by the refs. No, you
And by
have
the
the
way,
game in your hands and you blew it. I'm sorry, that's just how it is.
and that Alex Carabin drive to the base, that's Alex's fault. Ain't nobody tell him to go under the rim and try to do a reverse. And then the ref was like, I'm not bailing you out for that. You instead of him going straight up into Condon's chest to probably get an N one, he went under the rim and Condon just stood there. Was like, okay, you made it easier for me. But he want to foul. No, Alex Condon, you did your thing. You stood your ground, and Fairbairn decided to go under the rim for whatever reason. I'm like, he choked. I don't know why he did that. That was stupid. And Alex, he took ownership of it because he knew he shouldn't have went under the rim. He should have just went. He should have went straight up.
But yeah, I mean that. But yeah, you as I'm a manager. As a leader, you have to take the tact of you must not let the people who you're in charge of see you literally sweat. And you have to show if there's anything that is against your team, you got to show you're better than this, you're bigger than this, you're above this. Let's show why we are bigger than this. Let's show why we are above this. And you got to give that confidence to your team so that they actually can play above whatever issues might happen, whether it is a bad call, whether it is horrible fans just throwing chants in your direction. Whatever it is, you got to be that person that gives your team that hope of we're bigger than this moment. Let's show it. And Hurley, who has gotten a whole lot of platitudes about being the head coach, considering that he has led the UConn Huskies to back national championships. Now we have to criticize you because that's not how you're supposed to be with your charges. That's not how you're supposed to be with your players. You got to be better than that.
A much better press conference from Darren Hurley, by the way. But I get it. You love your team. You did what you need to do for your team and all that. But
Mhm.
Florida was just better.
And in this case, that's exactly what it was. I mean, and you can't even say anything other than doggone it, we fell 2 points short. The better team beat us because they had that game. UConn had that game. They should have finished. They should have finished the Gators off. They did not. The
And guess
Gators,
what?
the Gators came up big.
If UConn finish off the Gators, and everybody's like, "Oh hell, he actually might go for. He actually might get
And
this
go for
three-peat."
another one. It'd be his third in a row. It's like, man, this juggernaut in stores can't be stopped. Yeah, that would be the talk. That would be the talk that would dominate the tournament. I mean, what Houston's doing and Duke is doing and Auburn and Alabama and Tennessee and Kentucky and Michigan State, all that would be wiped off the table. Oh Lord, Dan Hurley's got his team going hard again. They actually might win the national championship for a third consecutive year. But no, we're talking about you having sour grapes because you thought you got hosed by the zebras. And no, you didn't get hosed by the zebras. You got hosed by effort lacking when you needed it. Point blank.
Three opposite rebounds by the Florida Gators off missed free throws.
Sorry, that it's just that it's just that plain and simple. Lack of effort, lack of effort, lack of effort on your team, not the refs. The lack of effort on yours.
By the way, we're going back right to Elijah Martin because two of those was Elijah Martin's doing.
So yeah, no,
Now
yeah.
this is
Hurley's got to
yeah,
be better. Hurley's got to be better.
Hurley needs to be better, and then the rest of the world, we live in a very cool world
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of people that is frustrated that Dan Hurley is out now.
I'm only happy because I didn't pick him into my bracket. Outside of that, I don't really care.
Like, people are so cool.
Hmm.
Jeez.
But see, but that's the thing. And sports reflects society so well. We cry about teams that win because we want so badly for whoever is dominating to be wiped off the map, wiped off the face of the earth, unless it's your team. Like for instance, if this is playmaker, and playmaker is not really like this, but if it's like him, and his team did have this happen 20 years ago, where they went back to back and won national championships. He would gripe if it was Duke or Carolina who was winning back to back. Like why did they have to be winning back to back? Man, somebody got to knock them off. But his team, Florida, well, they won back to back. No, I want them to win. I want to go on a streak of 4 or 5 in a row, like UCLA back in the day. That's how most sports fans are. That's not how Playmaker is, but that's how most sports fans are. And I'm not that way either. I'm like, look, as long as my team can actually get to the dance and win, cool. I'm rooting for it, but I'm objective enough to know that can't happen every single year.
Yeah, you was with me last year, and we was like, "Is anybody stopping UConn?" We was like, "No,
No.
no." Mm-mm.
And we were
We just it's just a UConn invitation. What other 3 gonna join them?
and many of us are with you. Like no one's touching them this year.
And sure enough,
yeah,
they destroyed the entire tournament.
Yeah,
Again.
2 years. Yeah, I would say 2 years ago, it was can they? And of course, they beat everybody but double digits that year. Like, can they? Can they? Almost all the way to about maybe the Final Four. And then it was like no one's touching UConn. And then when we saw that run again last year, that talk started right when the tournament began. Yeah, no one's unseating UConn. No one.
It's just a UConn invitation. Who wants to join them? That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lucky enough, it was Purdue, and Purdue couldn't even give them a run.
Right.
And they had Zach Edey.
I was gonna say they had a key ingredient that could have probably slowed them down, and didn't happen.
And they still couldn't slow them down. But,
yeah.
Sometimes you got people like Dan Hurley out there.